week on New to You,
What happened?
Part 3, Eddie Murphy. Welcome to the New to You Show. I'm one of your hosts, John Holt.
I'm one of your other hosts, Keith Vincent.
I'm your third host, Julian Cage, and special guest,
Parker.
Whoa, 3 weeks in a row. It's a record.
Yeah.
It's a record.
It's a record. So, gang, we've been doing What Happened? So happened?
So usually on the show, we like to make suggestions about, hey, guys, dust off this old thing that you forgot about, and we want to tell you why it's good.
Or hear something new
yeah.
that you may not know about.
Right. Somebody suggested the theme of, hey, what about these artists that have made great things and then have kind of either disappeared or gone a different route.
Right. And then
so
someone leaned down and they hit the spigot and nothing came out. And you said, what happened?
Yeah.
What
and so
happened to the water?
That's what we're talking
cooler.
about this week.
Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, lived a handsome prince. He was attended by devoted servants.
Do you think perhaps just once I might use the bathroom by myself?
Notes to music, sir.
Wipers!
And engaged by royal decree.
Why? Why can't I find my own wife?
We've gone to a great deal of trouble to select for you a very fine wife.
I want a woman that's going to arouse my intellect as well as my loins.
Where will you find such a woman?
In America.
So he traveled across the sea to the land.
And I want to talk about a little movie called Coming to America, which is amazing. But the context of it is Eddie Murphy literally owned the 80s. Well, I guess literally is not there. He owned the 80s in the box office.
He metaphorically owned the 80s.
Yeah. He
No, he had a whole set. He bought every single D that they sold from this set. There were eight of them.
Gosh. Eddie Murphy figuratively owned the 80s.
Ate the Odies?
Owned the 80s. So, like, there wasn't he just couldn't make a bad film. And then for some reason,
he figured out how.
Yeah, he learned. But I think that his crowning jewel is Coming to America. The team behind it is really the magic. I mean Eddie Murphy's great. He produced it, but it's a
John Landis.
Yes, thank you. John Landis produced it. Did he direct it? I think
he directed it.
So it's a John Landis film. John Landis directed it, and this guy has done so many great things, bringing the big budget treatment to this comedy. It just made something very special. And as well, this was kind of the first movie which may have started a bad trend, but this is the first movie that I can think of with Eddie Murphy where he played several characters, and I think to great effect in Coming to America. And it just kind of became a shtick as it went along. But the cast is amazing. The story is just goofy enough but perfect and just super quotable. I can quote this movie all day. And in fact, me and one of our friends who has been a guest on the show, Brian Jones, we used to, when we worked together, it was just like people really got sick of us for quoting this movie all the time. If you have never seen that movie, go check it out. It's really great. 1988. Let me open up my notes here.
Had he partied all the time yet at that point?
Yes, he had already partied all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, 1988 is when Coming to America came out. Directed by John Landis, and Eddie Murphy actually was one of the writers. There's
he wrote the story, and then it was based on his story, and then someone else I think wrote the screenplay.
Yeah, and then later on somebody did sue them saying that they had come up with the idea.
I mean, it's not a complicated story. It's kind of
The movie itself it's just really there's just not any non-funny stuff in it. I will say one of the crutches of Eddie Murphy at this time period, which hasn't aged well though, is this kind of like hint of homophobia in a lot of his stuff, and specifically, I mean, if you go back and watch Raw, it's actually kind of hard to watch the first 15 or 20 minutes of it because it's just like, gee whiz, buddy. And when he filmed Raw, I'm fairly certain it was in San Francisco, so there was that layer of just like blatant homophobia. Not to excuse him, that was just kind of very common back then. That's one of the kind of bad takeaways, but I guess there's not much to say about the movie other than just go watch it. It's really great. It's about a guy who he's a wealthy prince in an African country.
In a fictitious African country.
Zamunda. And he's in an arranged marriage. He's about to he convinces the powers that be that he needs to go sow his wild oats, so to speak. But really what he's doing is he's trying to go find somebody who would love him for him and not for his station. As a kind of a dumb joke, he was like, well, we're going to America. And he's like, America's so big. Where are you going to go? L.A. or New York? And so they...
That's one of my favorent jokes.
Yeah, it's really still so good.
The infinite possibility.
Yeah. And then they flip a coin to choose.
And then they say, and so when it goes to New York, he's like, where else would I find a place where else will I find a woman suitable for a future king? Queens. So that's how they end up going to Queens. And it's just a neat little time capsule of like a kind of a fake-ish New York, but with some rough edges. It's really fun.
And there's some real shots in the subway and stuff like that.
Yeah. So once he gets there, he's got, he's trying to pretend that he's not royal, and there's a bunch of comedy that comes from that. And Arsenio Hall is great in the movie.
Yeah, he plays his sidekick.
Yeah, it's kind of like his head aide as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to get a job. They're rich beyond words, but they end up getting jobs at like the lamest like McDonald's knockoff.
It's my other favorite joke. It's called McDowell's. and the owner.
Like, this is hilarious.
and the owner is constantly worried that like McDonald's is coming after him to sue him
because there's always some dude like taking pictures and they catch him sometimes with like the McDonald's handbook.
Yeah, and they're like, they have the golden arches. I have the golden arcs.
Yeah. He's like, they got the Big Mac. I got the Big Mick. And it's like,
and he lists off like their burger has, and he lists every ingredient in a Big Mac. But we don't use sesame buds.
Yeah, we don't use sesame seed buds. Yeah. Who's the actor that?
Oh yeah, he's really good too.
That plays his father.
No, that plays. John Amos.
Yeah.
Famous for his role in Beastmaster. Mm-hmm. But. Just a great character. Every character in this movie is really great. There's a really young
Jones
Samuel L. Jackson makes an appearance.
Louis Anderson is in it.
Well, and Eric LaSalle is so great.
Yeah, it really is.
Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yep.
He's in the barber chair for like a hot second.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall also play other characters. Like they have
a bunch of side characters.
Yeah, and they have a bunch of like crazy makeup on.
Yeah,
so.
makeup. Rick Baker did an amazing job.
For the time.
Wow,
too.
that's Rick Baker.
Yeah.
Yeah, for '88, it was really really good.
Like really nice stuff.
Because I had a hard time figuring. Like I knew it was somebody in disguise, but I couldn't figure out. Like for example, when he plays the singer, I couldn't figure.
Right,
I wasn't sure.
It was really nicely done. Yeah. And especially for like
Sexual
a bit,
Chocolate.
Yeah,
for like a bit character.
Give it up for my band, Sexual Chocolate.
I would say that's sometimes the digressions on the side character jokes.
I believe the children are future.
Are a little long, and that whole sequence is so long. So they at one point in the film they go to I guess is it like a fundraiser?
No, it's like a black awareness.
Yeah, but it is a fundraiser for Save Our Neighborhoods kind of thing.
And so you kind of see the whole show. And I think it's kind of they just wanted to
two or three because it starts with like a preacher.
Yeah,
character.
Arsenio Hall is a preacher, and he has like a Miss Black Neighborhood
Black Awareness, Miss Black Awareness.
Yeah.
And then you have also
it's a beauty pageant,
and then they also are a bunch of other side characters in the audience reacting, and really the whole scene, which is really long, just sets up one. Like moves
he
the
finally
plot.
sees the girl.
Yeah, moves a plot forward in just one small aspect. So it's a little
it's so funny.
No, it is
the
really
dude
funny.
Like,
it is really funny.
That boy's good.
But it's just a really long. It's one of the few scenes that's really long, and it's just about jokes, and that's it.
Yeah.
The other thing that was like fun. It was fun to watch it. It had been a long time since I just sat down and watched the whole thing, and I realized just how much the pace of movies has changed. Because
Yeah.
it is like, it feels slow, but it's not like boring slow. It's just like such a different
Takes
pace.
its time.
I watched Beverly Hills Cop recently
Yeah.
for the first time, and that was the same way.
Yeah,
It's not like the intense joke every 5 seconds kind of whether or not the joke is funny.
Yeah, and I think what's nice is it really like you get to like the character stuff is a little more heartfelt.
Yeah, I guess what I would want to do, because for me, Trading Places is sort of like a pinnacle movie for Eddie Murphy as well. Like, I mean, and this one actually references Trading Places with the two dudes, but like this is more a gag fest. It's a little more like kind of, not surrealist gag stuff, but it's more like
Some of it's kind of surreal, yeah.
But whereas Trading Places is a very like kind of a straight narrative for the most part.
Yeah.
He mugs every once in a while, and they mug in this movie too. But for the most part, it's a kind of straightforward narrative with a smaller kind of cast, and I would that would be one to watch for pace because it doesn't have the digressions as much. I think it's a little like more like straightforward.
Yeah, but I feel I don't know. I feel like that movie goes off the rails at the end a little bit more. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it's good, especially for the time, and I think it's a good movie. But I don't know. As a whole piece, this one's I love just the whole thing with the ape and the guy in the ape suit at the end,
right,
the gorilla,
like on the train.
Yeah,
it gets a little wacky. I mean, that's a question mark too. So, I mean, this is the parallel going 10 years forward would be your like Deuce Bigalow, Male Gigolo, or like basically it's Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy. These are all SNL alumni and Lampoon alum too.
Yeah.
Right. So that's sort of that genre of movie. It's like comedic actors from comedic TV and comedic like radio going into comedic movies where like they get to be the star. They might do multiple characters like your Austin Powers kind of thing.
But I kind of feel like that Austin Powers is a good one, but Deuce Bigalow I feel like is different in that there was a subgroup in the since the late 80s where they're just like, you used to be on Saturday Night Live, we'll give you some middling movie. The Trading Places, Ghostbusters, Spies Like Us, like there was another echelon of like movie that some of these guys got to be in, and this is like that
well, some
too.
of them were also like straight up skits, like it's
but like it's Pat and the Stuart Smalley movie.
Coming to America came like Eddie Murphy was already a bona fide movie star.
Oh yeah,
right.
Because that was 88. He had already made Beverly Hills Cop. He had already made Trading Places, 48 Hours, and those were all big hits. So he was a bona fide movie star. It's not like so. I feel like it's in a different, comparative stratosphere. Like now, who would you compare?
Will
like
Ferrell. Will Ferrell.
Yeah, Will Ferrell, exactly. Right. Yeah, that would be the closer parallel.
Yeah, and I guess, I mean, in terms of longevity, kind of the next point on this is that in terms of like people who have made the exchange and have a career still, maybe Jim Carrey would be like an example of someone.
There are lots of people. I mean, Amy Poehler.
Jim Carrey could kind of be on one of these episodes too. Though, honestly.
Yeah,
but
I feel like he's lying in wait.
And every once in a while, though, he'll jump in and do. He's just so versatile. He'll jump in and do a Spotless Mind or something like.
Yeah, but that was a long time ago now. I mean, that's one of my favorite movies of all time.
But he's made some like I mean, I can't name any because I haven't seen his movies in a while. But he's made movies more recently that are really good, like The Mask 4. No, what was the
one with the penguins?
Was this before or after Spotless? The camera.
Dumb and Dumber 2.
Yeah, that's it. No, the one where the camera follows the guy everywhere. Truman Show.
Oh yeah,
that was before.
Yeah, it was before.
Absolutely.
Spotless.
Eternal Sunshine.
Yeah.
I keep thinking you're saying like gonna say Spotlight.
Spotlight.
What was the Andy
Man
Kaufman?
on the Moon.
Did that come out
before?
after?
That's before also.
Well,
Eternal Sunshine was kind of the last like substantial and the most dramatic and least comedic, but most like the last. I mean, what did he do that was sort of like critically acclaimed and substantial after that?
Well, we'll look it up, but
Bruce Almighty.
Dude's all right.
Whatever. Evan Almighty.
It has been a while.
I'm telling you, Bruce Almighty was him, but that was sort of rehash.
I think
comedy.
I Love You, Philip Morris. I think was the last.
That's a really good movie
one.
too.
I did not see that one.
Nick Urata does the soundtrack. He's the guy from Devochka. Really good soundtrack on that.
Sorry to rabbit hole us a little bit.
No, it's fine.
That is a jumping off point. So we looked at a guy who continues to make movies. He's still considered high up. Eddie Murphy did continue to make movies, but he had a sort of a downward trajectory.
No, but I think this is similar to the Johnny Depp thing from a couple episodes ago, which is that Eddie Murphy, I mean, to guys...
Eddie Murphy's doing fine.
Yeah, I mean, to guys who are a little older than I am, like y'all, no offense, That's just how humans work and time works. You can't change that. But like, you grew up with him as sort of this like comedy icon in the sort of more like raw, in your face, mature kind of comedy. And I grew up with him 100% as a comedy icon too, but in more of like a Dr. Dolittle voice of Shrek. I was a little older already for Shrek, but
Mulan, the voice of
yeah, and sort of things around that era. So like he was even when I was a kid, like he was a megastar.
Yeah.
He was in movies that like I saw and my friends saw and like people quoted and stuff, and like he was making tons of money. But like it wasn't even until I was a little older that it like devolved into like even a punchline for our generation too.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
But 98 is Dr. Dolittle.
So I mean that I remember seeing Dr.
2000 is the Nutty Professor Part 2.
And we when as a kid, like kids loved Nutty Professor.
We chat a little bit about this, but like Bowfinger for me would be sort of one of his later career movies that was not aimed at kids and was probably, because of where he was at with his comedy, like a diversion from the kind of movies that he had been making, to the point where like people went in with the expectation of it being a little more like funny.
Friendly?
Well, no, also just being
Which one?
Bowfinger.
Oh.
Like they went in expecting it to be very funny because you have two very funny people. But I think that Steve Martin was trying to turn the corner there, and I think that the tone of it's supposed to be a little bit more like cynical and it's like a dark comedy.
Yeah, it's also meta because what I love about his role in this movie is he plays Eddie Murphy's brother.
Yeah.
Who's like not famous, but it's like this cynical like movie producers just trying to put him in for his name recognition.
Or no, because he's going to pretend that it was him. Yeah.
He looks a lot like Eddie Murphy.
But it's not Eddie.
But he's like a dumb version of
But
Eddie
he's not
Murphy.
playing Eddie Murphy. It's another guy who's
he's playing his
basically
brother.
No, but it's so
it's
in
not even his
Bowfinger
brother?
it's not in Bowfinger it's not like a self-referential, like he's not playing Eddie Murphy's brother though. It's a character that's
like Eddie
He's
Murphy.
playing a famous actor's brother.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is funny because I bet you Charlie Murphy has gotten some roles because he's Eddie Murphy's brother.
Right. And like the
Yeah.
Murray boys, there's like 3 of them that act.
Dude, there are more than that. I think there's like 5 Murray brothers all in movies.
And they did I Want You Back, The Love You Save, I'll Be There, before Eddie had the breakout with Billie Jean, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the movie Moving Violations has one of the brothers. If you watch Bill Murray's brothers is what I'm talking about. But if you watch Groundhog Day, I believe there are 3
of them in there?
Yeah.
That might be where my number came from.
Yep.
So Parker, have you watched the Eddie Murphy's comedy specials? Do you know the ice cream bit or the boomerang shoe bit?
Or Goonie Goo Goo?
I have seen some of them, like clips, but no, I don't know those.
Like,
skits.
you don't get no ice cream
No.
because your daddy's an alcoholic.
No.
And then the
That's
kid
dark,
drops the
though.
ice cream on the ground. Oh, no. Or the mom throws a shoe. She's like... So good. Some physical comedy in there. You can't see it all. But
No.
No.
Your
I
wife's a
haven't.
Bigfoot, Gus. Your wife's a Bigfoot. Anyway, there was
makes those sounds like, whoa.
Anyway, well, so growing up, we had the Eddie Murphy tapes, and definitely like that you knew you were old enough to be kind of like a teenager when you got to listen to the Eddie Murphy
It was
tapes.
like having a Playboy.
Yeah, it was kind of like a rite of passage, you know.
Well, the other thing too is he was spoken of in the same like breath as like a Richard Pryor, who Richard Pryor, had made a bunch of like Bad News Bears style, like not like family movies.
Bad News Bears is great, and he's not in that.
No, he's not in it. But there's those like kind of. I know, but those I can't. Even, he made The Toy. He made like just movies that are like where he's like running a camp with a bunch of kids in a bus or whatever, like just random kind of
Family Fare.
No, yeah.
But those kind of movies, like Bad News Bears, is like it's
Running,
a parallel.
What was the one with the kids in the bus? I know that one.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is like Richard Pryor was making these kind of like.
Yeah, and Richard Pryor definitely like opened the way for Eddie Murphy, I would say.
Right, and it's
Less homophobic.
Yeah.
Distinctly.
And Bill Cosby, like that was Eddie Murphy definitely up
Right, but
until
Bill-
a certain point would have said my two guys
but
are Bill Cosby and Eddie Murphy.
Bill
In fact,
Cosby
he had a
was-
whole bit where Bill Cosby called him and said, "Hey, you shouldn't cuss so much," and so he talked to
Richard Pryor.
about it, and Richard Pryor's like, "Fuck him," It's
Yeah.
like that's the whole joke. But
in terms of like being a more edgy like adult comic, and even like the SNL that Eddie Murphy was on was a more like politically aware. He was like, "I'm Gumby, damn it," and playing the like Mr.
Robinson's Neighborhood.
Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood, which is like, it's a critique, it's a joke thing, but it's also a critique on like the
Mr.
condition of
Rogers,
the poor and how the blacks are treated in New York in the 70s and like all this terrible stuff. And that's what SNL was like getting into more.
Well, at the time, Eddie Murphy is credited with saving Saturday Night Live because Lorne Michaels left the show in '80, and so there were 4 or 5 years where Lorne Michaels wasn't involved, and the show just was like
Dipping.
dwindling. And so Eddie Murphy came in around 82, 81, 82, and suddenly, like, he was a reason to watch. Everybody, and he's still, as far as my research can show, he's the only person who's ever been a cast member and hosted at the same time. I think it was Dan Aykroyd was supposed to host when Trading Places came out, and he couldn't. No, Dudley, or was it Dudley Moore for a movie? Well, anyway, Eddie Murphy was in a movie with Dudley
One of those
Moore
two.
and a movie with Dan Aykroyd, and that person was supposed to host and couldn't because they were sick, and so they let Eddie Murphy do it. And so instead of saying live from New York, it's Saturday Night Live, he said live from New York, it's the Eddie Murphy Show. Yeah.
Dang.
But the guy, I mean, and when you saw the 50-year special, or when you saw the big
Like
special
retrospective, yeah.
recently, you can see the reverence for Eddie Murphy. I wish he had actually done something. It was very awkward. Yeah, it was very awkward when they were like, "Ladies and gentlemen, Eddie Murphy," and he just kind of went out there and waved like he's some kind of like weird
Like the Pope.
dictator. Yeah. But that being said, there's a reverence for him for a reason. The guy
Maybe
was
again
a
it's
dynamo.
like you there are these tales of like basically Richard Pryor was doing drugs, had a very edgy comedy, was very real, like really dark stuff, and to the point where he was a writing partner with Mel Brooks, and Mel Brooks was told by the studios Richard Pryor can't be in Blazing Saddles, and like so he was losing opportunities because of his reputation and how he was selling himself. And maybe again it's harder to be a black man in America. You have to work that much harder to prove yourself. You're in an unfortunate position. And so now you have a guy who, he started out in this edgy comedy thing. He's going that direction, but then maybe he tacked and adjusted his approach and is now pulling away from that legacy a little bit and has made himself a more like family-friendly, adult-oriented comedic actor because it's a far cry from those associations. I don't know.
Maybe it's who knows. Maybe we all mellow out as we get older. It could be too that
Speak for yourself.
he had
Parker.
he has several kids, and so maybe he's like, I want to make something for my kids, and then also I want to put away for their college fund. So why not make that Disney money? But whatever the case, his trajectory is actually kind of unfortunate because the guy's still hilarious. He's still really funny.
How do you know?
Oh, he still manages to make a movie every now and then. That's like quite good.
Well,
What
wait,
was
wait,
the last
what?
one?
Bowfinger, like we mentioned, was a really good one.
That was 98 or
That was
something.
20 years ago.
I Spy was I think really good. I mean for the kind of movie.
For a parody movie.
Well, it's like a remake.
When did that come out?
2002 Showtime. 2002 was all right.
Okay, so these are like a long time ago.
Yeah, 13 years ago. Let's see.
I mean, she was Shrekking it up for like 6.
Tower Heist. I mean, that was a ill-conceived movie, but Eddie Murphy was great in it.
When did that come out?
And was he funny in it?
Yeah, he was. It's a
Is that Ben Stiller?
Ben Stiller, Eddie Murphy. It's a Brett Ratner movie. Could have been much better. But
So, yeah. What do you think? Like, what happened to him? Do you think?
well, I mean, notably, he had an interesting run-in with the police at one point. If you remember, I think it was 1997. There's a big public thing where he was pulled over by the police. The police were following a prostitute who got into his car, and then so they followed him and pulled him over. Oh, by the way, that's a prostitute, and it's a transvestite prostitute. And I feel like that really...
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah.
But that
and you're also talking
too bad
you're talking the LAPD in the 90s too, which is like, Rodney Dangerous.
But I would say, but after that, it didn't really hurt his career because right after that he did Nutty Professor 2, The PJs, Shrek, Dr. Dolittle 2, like Family Fare. So
but maybe it was a conscious change towards that sort of thing.
Like I was saying, kind of separating himself from...
I remember The Adventures of Pluto Nash being a horrible, which came out in 2002, was like an abysmal bomb.
Yeah,
and everyone saying it was the worst movie of the year. It won the Razzies and all this stuff. I think that may have been like the turning point.
It could be.
And I think it was...
Was that that was a long time ago.
Yeah, and I believe he might have directed that or produced it.
I mean, I feel like he's somebody who kind of like, he just reached a certain star status and was making money and all this stuff that I think he lost perspective and, again, was in a situation where he didn't have people around him to bring him back down to earth. Like, because he just did a lot of weird movies that were, I don't know, felt self-indulgent to me.
Yeah.
And I mean, and some of his early music career, I think is in the same vein.
Right. Yeah.
Where if he wasn't a famous, like funny man that everybody loved, like he wouldn't have gotten a music career because the music was not that good,
Right.
I like both those songs a lot.
But, well, I mean,
he had a couple hits, but again, it's like, it's because he was working with really talented people. And they were like, I love you, man. I'll make a record with you, like.
It's not evident in those songs that he has released and been on the Billboard charts with, but his voice he's got more control over his voice than most amazing singers out there. I mean, he can do anything with his voice. It's pretty amazing.
But does he have, the right, like,
does
he have taste, what I mean?
Well, here's the problem. If you grow up your whole life imitating Otis Redding and Little Richard and doing dead-on imitations of all these amazing singers, you learn all this stuff, but you don't learn how to do your own voice. You don't learn what to do with your own voice when you get
also,
a chance.
It's not even it's not just like what you want to do with your voice. It's I guess what I'm saying is it's also
you can't sing unless you're playing a character.
Yeah.
Right. It's also like what you sing.
Yeah.
And like what choices you make in terms of what songs you're going to write or make. Like again, he's basically then you're an instrument for someone else to play. Yeah. Like that's kind of you're saying. He puts if good people come around him and produce him, he's got the instrument, but they're writing the song and they're.
But is he a good singer?
Yes, his he can do anything with his voice. It's remarkable.
Mm-hmm. He'll be like, "Come here, Parker."
I think too, like, I mean, there's definitely a lot of things he's done that to me, like, also show like a ego, like, run out of control. Like the fact that he's done so many movies where he just ends up playing like all the characters. It's like, why? Like, great, you can do it, but I suppose it's kind of a shtick, maybe. But
I think he's a character guy, too. Like, that's part of his thing.
He was a sketch comedy guy.
But when you go to the point where you're playing literally every main character, it's like, I don't know. To me, that's like, you could be sharing the spotlight.
But I think
certainly.
I think it kind of also goes like, it's in the vein of those like Tyler Perry kind of, like you have somebody, there's a long tradition of comedians playing multiple characters in a thing, but that vein of he keeps making those movies,
right? And it just got out of control.
It became an ongoing thing.
But it's also again like I just feel like it shows a lack of generosity because he could have been casting other people in those roles or like bringing in new talent and showcasing them and stuff like that and. It was just the Eddie Murphy show. You know what I'm saying?
But part of that is also what's going to sell. Like,
it's not about what's going to sell.
He could play 3 characters in the movie and still sell the same, have the same market.
Well, that's what in Coming to America I feel like was the right balance.
Yeah.
He played several throwaway characters that didn't matter in the movie necessarily, even though these characters are memorable and really great. His like weird church singer guy who leads the band Sexual Chocolate in Coming to America Without that scene, it's fine. It's fine. But his hair cutter guy is hilarious and tells the most ridiculous, stupid stories that are obvious lies. But Eddie Murphy's not going to advance somebody's career by putting them in that role. You know what I mean? And so, but it's so much funnier when he's this old barber talking about the time Martin Luther King Jr. punched him in the stomach. You know what I mean? It's just like
right. But I mean, the thing is, you could like the joke is not the fact that it's Eddie Murphy dressed as an old man, or do you think that's the part of the joke?
No, it's that he created this hilarious character, and no one's gonna ad lib it. No one's gonna ad lib these lines, gonna improv these lines as good as him. Like the story of he's just in the barbershop talking this story, and you can tell, just like a regular person who would just bullshit a story, he just tells this obvious lie about how he walked up to Martin Luther King Jr. and he punched him in the stomach. It's just like, somebody else could have done that, but the way he did it was really funny, and I don't think that he was taking. Now, if he played Eric LaSalle's role, then I would agree with you in that.
Yeah.
And when he does double up the characters in the clumps or whatever.
See, I would argue in those two, what happens is they go, this is the third Clumps movie. Honestly, like, we need a gimmick, and the more Eddie Murphy we can show, and the more like shtick, like this is our selling point. Eddie Murphy is everyone and the dog in the Clump 6. Don't clump me.
Yeah.
Bro.
Or Norbert, where he plays the lady and the main character.
Right. Well, that's similar. I mean, Adam Sandler followed in his footsteps.
So well. So well.
What happened to that guy?
I still root for him.
Not after that Indian movie that he made with Netflix.
Wait, what
Which
are you
one?
talking about?
The Native America, the Western.
The Ridiculous Six or whatever?
Yeah, it's bad. And it's like insensitive and shitty, but
That's who made that?
Adam Sandler.
Oh.
But anyway,
that's
what I got to say.
Sandler?
Hey, listen. You guys just hold on.
Hey,
Adam Sandler's going to be fine.
What happened to the Jerky Boys?
All right. So what could fix Eddie Murphy's career? This is my pitch. Wes Anderson role.
Ooh. Dude, that can fix anybody's career.
Thoughtful. That's thoughtful. I think.
No, but like,
I could get behind
seriously,
that.
you could fix anybody's career with that.
Really?
Yeah, Johnny Depp? Maybe.
Boom. Nah.
Nah. Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Dude, he can pull it off.
I don't know.
Him
actually.
and Adrian Brody in a buddy comedy, where they're like, they would have to be like Arctic explorers.
I don't know.
I see.
I don't know.
I guess my concern is that like Bill Murray as the Muse is almost like gone too far in some of those movies. Like this. That's where I think people like for Life Aquatic started to like. I'm not so sure because his character was like a little bit more exaggerated. And it's nice that he sort of shifted into using other players a little more. But yeah, I would be interested to see him in that cast, to see him get some play in a kind of Baroque. In like quirky movie. I think he'd be really good.
Yeah, but he would have, I mean, I don't know. I mean, he would have to share a lot of screen time if that were the case. And
yeah, see, that's where you say he's got ego. He's got a big head.
He might, though he shared a lot of screen time with Owen Wilson in I Spy, and I think that movie was quite funny. Some really funny stuff in it.
You sure he didn't play Owen Wilson? Maybe he has been in a Wes Anderson. Maybe he is Owen Wilson.
But I believe I Spy is a remake, and it was
Bill Cosby.
Yeah,
the TV show.
in the original. Yeah.
Yep. He was a young, skinny Bill Cosby too.
Well, he was kind of a tough guy, Bill Cosby, because I think he was a
a
boxer
cop.
in the movie.
Was in the TV show.
Well, in the movie, he was a boxer.
Oh.
His role was a boxer, and in the TV show, I don't know.
He was a cop, I think, in I Spy. I think it was a cop movie. Or cop TV.
No, they're spies, bro.
Oh,
They're
I'm thinking of the
spies.
other one where he's a cop. What's the Bill Cosby show? You remember that? It's older. It's an old TV show.
Picture Pages?
Yeah.
That's it. I thought
He's
so.
like,
Fat Albert?
Hey. Fat Albert and the gang were at it again. But I was going to stop them.
Just a fat Alberts, please.
Ooh, I Spy has a 15% on Rotten Tomatoes. Just FYI.
Give it a shot. It's good.
Go watch The Box first. Which has like a 45% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Funny dynamic between Owen Wilson and Eddie Murphy in that.
But
movie.
I would watch the first. Would you watch Zoolander 2 or I Spy?
I Spy.
Would you watch Zoolander or I Spy?
I Spy.
What?
Yeah.
Over Zoolander?
Yeah.
No, that's craziness.
No, it's good.
If someone had,
Did you see I Spy?
No, I'm not gonna.
Then
see
shut
I
the fuck
Spy.
up. Go watch the fucking movie.
I'm not gonna see it.
No, that's fine.
50%. No,
Dude, Rotten Tomatoes is fucking rigged anyway. Like,
that's true. Trump did tweet that the other day.
no, every movie that comes out.
Crooked Hillary rating all my
No.
cameos below on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's not rigged. It's a
User based. Yes.
no. It's not user based. It's an aggregate of all the reviewers.
Yeah. Anyway,
So how is it rigged?
how
Well,
come
because
every shitty movie that comes out, they're like, it rated 98 on Rotten Tomatoes?
What shitty movie?
Every movie that comes out now,
No.
they're always touting that.
No,
Yes.
I'm always-
Mauna.
Yeah, that's a terrible
Moonlight.
movie. Yeah, terrible movie. No, I think it's hard
Fantastic
I think it
Beasts.
is hard to find movies that have high ratings. Although I do have to say I think Arrival was overrated.
Well, the
I thought
thing is,
Arrival was good.
But it wasn't like 98% on Rotten Tomatoes good. It was like
no.
to me it was like a
I will agree.
80%.
basically where Rotten Tomatoes
It was
like
better than I expected.
Trolls lands on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, 74. See, that seems like that's Arrival quality. I
Well,
think.
see, so the thing is, like
74%.
for Rotten Tomatoes, and correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't it sort of like its freshness score is a certain like rating, right? So if someone rates a thing like 75+%, it's fresh. So if I made a review and I liked it, that goes in the like category. You make a review and you don't like it, that goes in the dislike category. The movie has 50%.
yeah.
Right. So right there with just 2 reviews in, it's a rotten score.
Yeah, so it requires like a big consensus.
Right. So it just, you have to get so when it's 20 and 20 on either side, that's when.
Yeah, so sometimes movies that are like under are either bad or controversial. Like controversial films, you'll have when
I mean,
you
I
have
Spy.
a split.
Whoa. Think
Well,
about
no.
it.
What
So
I'm
that's
saying is,
15%.
Whoa.
it's an aggregate
about
of
it.
people, but you can send out your like preview list to people who are amiable to reviewing your movies, and therefore they're the only users on it to give it a good rating.
Early on, yes.
Yes,
Early on,
yes.
yes. But over the long haul, like which is
Right.
by now everyone's seen it and knows how bad it is.
Well, the
or
other
good.
problem with I Spy in terms of controversy was that the method acting, Eddie Murphy really embraced Bill Murray, really embraced Bill Cosby and just sort of like took that on, like became him to fulfill the role in I Spy. And that was a controversial thing to do, Parker. So Parker, which Eddie Murphy movies is your favorite?
That I've seen. I mean, I haven't seen much of his oeuvre.
Dr. Dolittle, it is.
I didn't go to 6
Probably just because it was the one I've seen most recently, but Beverly Hills Cop. I mean, I remember liking Trading Places, but I saw that when I was really young, so I don't really remember it that well.
I would say so you watch Beverly Hills Cop, I would go watch The Golden Child and Trading Places.
I've seen some
Golden
but not
Child,
recently.
no.
I want
the knife. Golden Child is okay, but it's not a great movie. But Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2.
He's very charming, which is
Yeah.
what I feel like what really stood out beyond it, like being funny or the like enjoyment of it, just as like a pure sort of like 80s cheeseball music and stuff, which I do like. But like the thing that really stands out is he's extremely
wait.
charming. He is
Cheeseball? What is he talking about? Axel F? That's not
I don't know.
Cheeseball. That's not cheeseball.
the
I
cheeseball
don't know.
music in it. I mean that as a compliment.
No, that's not it. That's
Oh
not
no,
it.
that's Rocket.
That's Rocket.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
Well, imagine this, fellas. Imagine this. When there we go.
Good job.
That's
When
not
that- when that-
cheesy.
when that
That's
movie
cool.
was
That's a
originally
cool
pitched-
song.
I meant as a compliment. I mean that's the kind of music I listen to.
Sylvester Stallone was supposed to be cast as the Beverly Hills Cop, and it was not going to be a comedy.
Wow.
What?
And that fell through, and luckily they.
That would have been such a weird movie.
It would have just been a regular old another
Cop thing.
like would have been Cobra.
Yep.
But
So Keith, for you, what could turn him around for you? Like, what kind of movie would put him back in your wheelhouse again? Because you're not saying he's shit the bed all the way, but you're saying that he hasn't really put anything, barring I Spy, put anything out that like is in your taste or.
Well,
in your
I don't. You know, I was thinking about this when we're talking about the What Happened theme, and I'm kind of thinking like maybe he doesn't need to do anything else. Maybe that's just what it is.
Just put him
he
away.
has these amazing movies; they're done. You know, sometimes you just can't recapture some element that you know was there. I don't know. I don't know honestly what could do it, but I think if he teamed up with some other like really great comedians and took some chances instead of just if he teams up with Will Ferrell and makes a buddy cop movie, it's just gonna be okay, I guess. But
what about like sort of a slightly like a Netflix series, like a TV show?
Yeah.
It's like something like Louie, but not necessarily like
not biographical
not
necessarily.
in the same thing, but sort of like that allows a comedian to like stretch out into.
I honestly don't know if many people could pull off something of that nature.
Yeah.
It's also
Or like Master of None.
Yeah.
Too.
Right.
I mean, that's
an interesting idea.
But I don't know.
Something small like that, though, I would like.
I think on the other end, if he wanted to get back in the booth and have Bruno Mars produce his next, work with him on his next album, I think that we could see.
No, he'd have to get one of those, some of the Swedish, hit squad
Max
guys.
Martin.
Yeah. He'd have to get those dudes in to
just fire him all the way to the top.
Make him some
back to the top of the charts.
Yeah.
Well, he came out with he was starting a movie this year, but it got panned real hard. It sounds like he did a good job in it, but that people find the movie it's called Mr. Church. And the critics were quite harsh.
He plays
the critics on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, they're not harsh on his performance, but just on the movie as a
He
whole.
plays a living church.
People have to go inside of him and pray.
This is my steeple. I'm Mr. Church.
It's actually just the movie Dave.
Yeah.
What was it? No, what was it called? Not Dave, because Dave was the movie about the president, right?
Yeah.
What is the one where he plays? What's the movie where he plays a guy named Dave?
It's called
Meet Dave.
Yes.
It's just like Meet Dave, but all the people inside are worshiping him.
Yeah.
Inside him.
Whoa. And he plays all the people inside him.
Oh, of course. Again, I don't know. I mean, the dude achieved so much by the time he started what I consider a slump, and not everybody considers it a slump. So I don't know.
All right.
Take it or leave it.
So, but what happened?
Everyone considers it a slump.
Yeah. I guess you're probably.
I think post Pluto Nash, he just isn't. He hit. I mean, the idea is that he hit a peak and rode that. Even into the Doolittle, which is a shift in his career.
What if he teamed up with Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock?
But again, I feel like he's just not willing to share the spotlight.
And I don't think he's that guy anymore. Like I don't think you would see him in a I'm gonna get you sucker or something like that.
Well, I don't think it has to be.
Well, I think too maybe
a
he's
complete farce. I mean,
but I think he's also he's not interested in
Kevin Hart
in being edgy.
Kevin Hart.
Yeah,
it was him, Kevin Hart,
that
Jackie Chan,
Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle,
and wait, what's the guy from Fifth Element?
Luc Besson?
No, and he's also in
the Brett Ratner movie.
No.
The
the fast talking.
Yeah. The dude from Friday.
Yes.
Yeah, he's like a squeaky voice.
Yeah, what happened to him?
He got all jacked.
Really?
Just like
he
Urkel.
got buff.
Urkel got buff too, didn't he?
I don't know.
Chris Tucker?
Yes,
that's
thank
it.
you. I couldn't even remember his name.
I was thinking Chris. I was like, I just can't think of his last name.
He was in Rush Hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way. Because that's what we were saying. Jackie Chan, Chris Tucker. Yeah. I guess it'd be interesting to see what kind of movie they do.
I don't know. I really loved when he took a chance. Harlem Nights, I really enjoyed, and it might just be that I was young or whatever when it came out. But I don't know. I liked him. I liked him having the control to be able to cast a bunch of African American people in a movie. That's not something that's very mainstream right now, which I find sad. It's sounds stupid for me to say because Kevin Hart is all over the place, but the movie Harlem Nights came out. Red Fox was in it, the guy from The Toy that we were talking about. Richard Pryor, Jesus. Red Fox, Richard Pryor was in it. Arsenio Hall, great cast, amazing cast, and that's what I miss that he was able to do.
I miss Amazon Women on the Moon.
He wasn't in that.
I know, but Arsenio Hall was.
Yeah, but
what
I
happened
miss
to that
Bill
guy?
Clinton.
Yeah.
I mean, he
Whatever
wasn't in
happened
it,
to
but he
him?
was on Arsenio Hall.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did he ever do anything else?
I
He
can't
played
think
the
of anything.
saxophone. He
Yeah,
had a
but that was
band.
on the
He
show.
had a
Oh, they
band.
played the saxophone for the Animaniacs opener too.
Yeah. Yeah, he's animated in that.
No, but that's
Does anyone else remember Abe Feld from Animaniacs? It was Seinfeld, but with Abe Lincoln.
no.
Yeah, that was a
I don't
clutch
remember
show.
that. I love the.
I think that's streaming now.
It is on Netflix. So that's it. That's all I got
Where
to
can
say.
people watch? And what are the two picks like then and now? What should they watch or what should they avoid? All right, yeah. So here we go. Just like with Jules, what should they watch for sure, and where can they watch it? And you've kind of answered that. But then what should they just steer clear? Norbit, steer clear.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe Norbit's great. I don't know. I've never seen
Honestly, I think that's probably better than Pluto Nash or Meet Dave. Or...
Nobody's seen these movies.
it. Right. So I can't say to avoid
I've
them
seen
because they might be great.
I've seen Pluto Nash. It's hot garbage. Like
You
it's
think?
really bad.
Let me look at the list.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
that-
Norbit. I bet Dreamgirls is supposed to be really good. He was nominated for an Oscar for that, I think,
Really?
or at least a Golden Globe.
Oh yeah. That's like a different kind of deal. That's a dramatic.
Yeah.
Role. That was interesting. So Coming to America is streaming on Netflix right now, so people can watch it there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Don't see 1,000 Words. How about that? I'm
Right.
fairly certain that movie's no good.
All right.
1,000 Words, 2012.
After you finish Pluto Nash, put away your movies.
Skip it.
Skip it. Just buy it, but don't watch it. That's Keith's recommendation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is weird that Arsenio Hall, after his TV show, just that was it.
You got to work really hard to do a nightly show, and I bet he's just like, I made a lot of money. I'm just gonna take it easy for a
Although
while.
it came back on.
What's that?
He had his show back on for a second.
Well,
I
you know
think it
why?
doesn't
It's
anymore.
because Donald Trump, because he was on Celebrity Apprentice, and ever since then his career's gone right back up to the top.
Arsenio
Yeah.
was on
was on
Celebrity
Celebrity
Apprentice.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
I only know that because somebody was making fun of Donald Trump before he was president for saying it.
President Trump.
Don't
President
say those
elect.
words.
Okay,
Well,
you're not president yet.
when this airs.
Ah,
Too
jeez.
late.
The future is so sad.
So cool. Good pick, Keith. Good. What
Thank you.
happened?
Welcome to the moon, year 2083,
We'd like to thank everybody for coming out and welcome you to the new and improved Club Pluto.
where you can be anyone,
We were hoping that for our anniversary that maybe we could get a brand new us.
want anything you want.
Oh no, I don't like that. That makes me look like a big doofus.
But the last person you want to be is Pluto.
Pluto Nash? Bingo.
This April, somewhere between Earth
Such a question, there are many possible answers, such as hard work.
Feel I'm alone in this whole of existence. I know it takes time, but I'm losing my persistence. The distance is too far to fetch, so I sketch.
Hey everybody, thanks for listening to another episode of the New to You Show. I was one of your hosts, John Holtz. You can find me on Twitter at Lord Joho. Keith, where can people find you?
You can see my stuff at earthlingkeith.tumblr.com or just earthlingkeith.com.
And I'm Julian Cage. You can find me on Twitter or Instagram at Beautiful Jules. And Parker, where can people find you?
People can find me on Farmers Only.
What's that?
Yeah,
Only it's dating
date-
for only farmers. I
Well-
lied. I'm not a farmer, but it's working.
No.
out
You
great.
can meet a
Cool.
farmer. You can meet a farmer.
Oh.
Oh, wait,
I've
what
been
did-
lying and saying I'm a farmer.
What
on
kind
it.
of what kind of farmer are you looking for?
I would go with dairy, bro. Dairy.
Yeah, they know how to milk them.
Salmon farmer.
I don't know. Maybe someone who grows some of that nice kush. Farming in the new age
I'm not certain that's the demographic
That's
that
going to
they're-
be a long distance relationship, Parker.
gives a whole new term to J date, if you know what I mean. Meaning, only meaning.
So before we get into what's next week, who's going to do the New to You this time?
You, I think.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's you.
What's new to you this week, John?
Oh, hey. Two things. One simple one.
Two? I just want
Two
one.
things,
You
yeah.
got to choose.
Well, one I'm not going
Flip
to
a
talk
coin,
lot
dude.
about. So I have recently become a landowner of sorts.
Yeah, so you can finally
yes.
vote.
Yep. I'm a white
You own
landowning
property.
man. So,
Property owner.
So I can cast my vote in the next election.
Well, actually, you don't own land; you own air.
That's true. I do.
No, he owns property.
I own
though.
a
That's
piece
right.
of the
That's
land. So anyhow, that's nice to do.
So that's
Having
new.
That's new.
And you haven't moved in.
Not as this. Probably not as this.
You're
We're
like,
still,
dude, not until I put up all my docking posters
Right.
am I moving in there.
Yep. We gotta. Not until the carpet is glittered.
Yeah, perfect.
So getting that all glittered up, getting some like mirror balls put in.
Sweet black paint job.
Oh, well, no. Black light paint job.
Nice. So you can't tell, but then when you
Right.
flip the black lights on, boom, it
naked
suddenly looks like
ladies.
Batman Part 3.
Is
I mean, if Batman wasn't wearing pants.
is the bed gonna rotate?
But he still has the bat nipples.
Yep. It's gonna it's more of like a pendulum. It's hung from the ceiling and kind of
cool.
swings, so you can also use
A
it
bit
to
like a
tell
hammock?
time. Similar to a hammock, but it's constantly moving with the motion of the earth.
That's very soothing.
That's perpetual motion, which can't exist. How did you do this?
Using the gravity.
It's new to me.
Hey, once you own property, anything's
But
possible.
more importantly, for Christmas, we took all our coins to the bank, and there were $349 in coins.
Wow.
What?
And then we bought a bunch of Lego Dimension stuff with our coins.
What's Lego
I
Dimension?
thought you were gonna say something like, and then we donated it to like a nice cause in the Christmas spirit, but he just got Legos.
Yeah.
So
We walked past this family who were looking in the window of a toy store, and like one of the kids was really skinny and really pale, and the other one was like passing out, probably from hunger. But we went into Toys R Us and we got our Legos.
But they moved out of the way.
Oh, well, we had security clear them. Well, I'm a patron here, and I can't shop for Lego Dimensions.
Sir, I am a homeowner.
I demand. These people obviously don't even have a home, let alone own a home.
there's a lot of vitriol towards the homeless on this show.
It's not. It's because they can't do anything to us.
You're about to get shanked, man.
Dude, why can't they just pull themselves up by their bootstraps?
Oh, I know.
Like you did.
I did.
I don't know, man. They shouldn't be able to vote.
Oh, God. Anyway, this is all jokes, folks.
But yeah, we bought some Lego
sad
Dimensions. There's a
jokes.
new wave of stuff that came out.
So how did you take your money? Did you take it to like a machine at the bank, or did you roll
we went
it?
to, well, actually, I guess we didn't go there. We went to Stop and Shop.
Yeah.
Because there's a coin star there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because TD Bank took away their coin
Yeah, they did.
machines.
There was
What a
a
bunch
there
of
was a whole
jerks.
issue with some of them too.
Oh.
What was the issue?
They weren't calculating properly. So anyhow, we went to Coinstar.
Because people were putting their
And I'd
dang
actually-
paper
Coinstar
clips in
takes
there.
a cut.
But they don't. If you
If
put
you
it
do
on
a gift card.
Oh.
Yeah, I did that.
Yep. So we put $200 on a GameStop gift card and $150 on an Amazon gift card, and then we went right inside the Atlantic Terminal and bought $200 of Legos Dimensions.
Why?
Because we like that game. We got.
It's a game?
Yeah. So there's this game. Lego Dimensions. We got it last year, but you plug it into. It's on all the platforms right now except for PC and Mac. But you have a base station kind of thing that has like 7 little like nodules on it kind of thing, and each minifigure has like a tag base to it kind of thing, and you put that.
So when you put it on there, it unlocks them in the game.
Yeah, so they portal on into the game. So and then there's other things where you build their vehicles and stuff, and you put them on their tags on the thing. And
But
then
you
the
have to
vehicles
build
show
a
up.
specific thing with
It doesn't really
specific-
matter because it's just like the tag
the
is what
code.
really matters.
Yeah, but can you build something wacky and make your own thing?
No, it's kind of all within that. They have that. They have that in like an MMO form, like a Lego City thing with like an MMO thing. But this is more like narrative heavy, and it's in those Lego narrative games where you can like it's a lot of puzzles and just like silliness, but it's combining all these different worlds. So the first one is wild style. Like when you buy the base game, it's wild style
From the movie.
Gandalf and Batman, like normal Batman. And so
Is it Gandalf or the wizard guy?
Gandalf the wizard guy.
Yeah, but not the wizard guy from.
No, not the
from
wizard guy.
game.
Like
Yeah.
it's a mixed genre.
Got
So
it,
then
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like all these things from all these different worlds. So you can unlock, like you can get packs with other guys in them and stuff. So you can have like Superman and the Ghostbusters.
Middle
and
Zealand.
The ones we
Did you
bought.
go to Middle Zealand?
You can go to Middle Zealand. There's like Gremlins and E.T., and they just put up like Mr. T, like B.A. Baracus, and you give him like a van and he rides around on it. And so you just like have all these, like, you can just get as many of them as you want. There's all the different properties. They put some Harry Potter ones in.
Can you unlock them in any other way other than buying them?
You can like use coins to buy them, to like use their powers
That's what
to
you
solve
did.
puzzles.
You turned in your coins to buy
No,
them.
well, like in the game you collect like little Lego bits or whatever as currency, and then you can use those Lego bits to like unlock a guy to solve a puzzle, or you can have bought the actual physical toy and use that guy more.
Jump the line.
So you can get your Aquaman and play with Aquaman and stuff. But it's fun because there's like one of the most fun ones. Some of them, like you have the base game with its base narrative story and some like free play worlds. And then they put out like level packs that are specific to the characters you buy. So when you get Doctor Who, he unlocks his own level, like his own storyline level, and you can play that. And there are like entire story packs with the new Ghostbusters and that kind of stuff. So it's expanded by the content that these little figures provide. Some just provide,
a new character, but
others will provide maybe like a free play world where you can actually be in the world of Gremlins, where one is the downtown suburban town, and then you go like a ways over.
But can you unlock the Corey Feldman character in the Gremlins one?
No Corey Feldman. He's toast. But you basically are the Mogwai and Stripe are the two characters you can get for that. So there's like Adventure Time is part of it now too. And
so do you think the original Gremlins, do you think it's a coincidence that the guy's name is Mogwai, which is the name of the character in The Last Mohicans, and then the bad guy has a mohawk?
No, it's not a coincidence. It's a concept about like whether we should have fed the Indians or let them get wet. It's really a metaphor. And what we should have done is given them more blankets.
We should have treated them nicely, like at Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and fed them after midnight.
Yeah, and not put a pipeline through their sacred lands.
Exactly. So so Lego Dimensions, political. Lego Dimensions is really fun. We goofed around with that a lot.
So what did you just keep your change in a big jar or something, or how did you collect so much?
We had like 6 jars of change.
So what does it do? Like, say every day you're just like, I'm home from work, just chink,
drop
throw
it in the jar.
I got that too. I use it.
I do that too.
I take my change out to buy coffee in the morning.
I do that too, but to buy Diet Pepsis.
The last time we did it was maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
I was going to say, like, buy vodka on the way to work.
The last time we did it was like 4 or 5 years ago, and we got like $400-something. So this isn't the record.
In 4 years?
Like a while ago.
That's
and
good.
So we got, back then when we did it, we put... We bought 2 DSs with it, but
nice.
Elise and I did
Not
this
3
recently.
DSs?
Well, 2 3DSs.
Oh, so 6 DSs.
Yeah.
2 years ago, Elise and I did it and got a grill with the money we.
Nice.
Yeah, and we did the thing with the game card with the gift card, and we went to Home Depot.
Nice.
Sweet.
Or Lowe's, maybe, I can't remember.
Problem is all the quarters go to laundry, so that doesn't actually leave that much money behind.
You're
and
fucked.
To go back to my other thing, my new building has laundry in it. And
for quarters?
The laundry's card.
Yeah.
You put money on a card.
That's what we got,
so
dude.
They don't need change.
That's the jam.
Yeah. But nowadays, you use credit cards, you buy a lot of stuff online, except for the like buying a bagel
Your best
or
bet
coffee.
is to do it on an Amazon card because you can buy everything through
Right,
there.
yeah. You get that's like we would have done all Amazon, except we knew we were going to go right to GameStop and buy whatever. Because Amazon, we could just you can get whatever. So, yeah. Like you said.
I missed the part. So you use the Coinstar at where?
Super Stop and Shop at Flatbush, like a Atlantic Terminal. Yeah.
Cool. They have a Stop and Shop there now?
It used to be Pathmark.
Oh, that's a Stop and Shop now?
Yeah. I mean, it's the same
Boy, the
store.
old neighborhood.
Yeah, they changed the sign and still have a big... I mean, it's the same kind of store.
They didn't have no Coinstar in there when I was living there.
Yeah, it's fine. They had TD Banks and stuff then. They might have had a Coinstar type thing in there. Like
I used to go in that grocery store a lot. I know it very well. That's what's new to you. Thank you for bringing it home.
That was new. So to find out where you can go to the Coinstar near you, go to our website where we'll have a link.
Coinstar.near
there's a location finder. We'll send a link to the location finder for the Coinstar near you, so you can get your Lego Dimensions on our website at newtoyoushow.com. We'll also have links to where you can see the entire Eddie Murphy catalog, which is online.
I don't think we'll have links to the entire catalog. And likely, there will not be a link to the Coinstars.
That's true.
But anyway, we're moving on.
So, Gag, you could also...
So next week we're going to be talking...
Well, before we get into that, you can listen to us on iTunes. You can subscribe or leave comments. You can review and rate that. That's all good. You can follow us on Twitter at New to You Show. And yeah. So next week we're going to wrap up our topic with Parker, our guest pick.
Yeah.
So we're going to do The Strokes. Parker, why don't you give us a little taste of what people should do to prepare for next episode?
What Strokes
What should they listen
albums
to kind of get the context going into next episode?
I mean, I'm going to do a rough survey of everything, probably.
But the essentials. I would say this is it.
Is this it?
Is this it? Sorry.
Is this it?
Is it?
I mean, is this it is essential listening for anyone, period.
Yeah,
honestly,
that was their first record.
Yeah, honestly, Room on Fire is pretty essential, too.
That's the follow-up.
Yes. First Impressions of Earth, you can see some of the breakdowns start to occur. It still has some Stone Cold classics.
All right, that's good. And then what's at the...
Their most recent thing was...
the EP?
Yeah, I think Past, Present, Future. Future, Present, Past.
Something like that, yeah.
It's in one or the other in that
So if
order.
you want to judge whether or not you think they've slipped, you can listen to that.
Although I don't know if that's really the best.
The best for showing slippage.
Yeah, I mean, Angles is the one that is sort of most questionable in some ways.
The Pit.
All right, so that's all.
We'll get into it next
we're getting
week,
into this next week.
But definitely go listen to The Strokes, at least the first album.
Their albums are short, man. Just breeze through.
Yeah,
you
just
can
listen to it.
Look, there's great stuff on all of them. So.
All right. So, gang, it may not be new, but maybe it was new
to you.
Explosion sound!
She's your queen to be.
From all the troubles and the clutter of the world. Got no need for nothing, so I'm out of here. Leave me alone to myself till I figure it out. Then I'll try to explain what it's about. For now, give me time to think, cause I'm sinking in the quicksand. Been peddling too long, and I'm not a human kickstand. Need time to rest, but I gotta keep moving. This pitiful life is all about the music. 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 This pitiful life is all about the music.
Be with him together forever, without the limitation of time ever again. So the second coming of the Lord is not dead. They're two separate.